How's it going, everyone? I'm just gonna tweet this out as usual. We're watching some EYBL today because seems to be the only thing these days that doesn't get copyright every time I try to do this. Um, I hope everyone's having a nice day so far. I'm just tweeting out the stream. How's it going, everyone? Yo, Jonathan, what's up? Hope everyone's having a nice day. Ready to watch some basketball. Like I said, the AAU film was like the safest thing that we can do without getting copyrighted because clearly NBA isn't going to work. Certain conferences don't work. I'm going to put some of the names in the titles once I fix my. Zay, what the fuck are you talking about, man? My guy, what are you on? We're watching some EYBL 16Us. I'm gonna just JJ. This is Brad Beal Elite versus AZ Unity. Yeah, so we're watching AU. That's right. That's right. Yeah, you're doing the real hard journalism. Yeah. So this is two of the best, the better 16U EYBL teams with a bunch of top recruits. Miikka, Muurinen these are all 2026 high school class kids, except for I think Paul Osaruyi here, 25, might be 2027 if I remember correctly. So yeah, so like, but JJ Andrews here, 23, Muurinen are 2026 high school class, as is number one, Miles Thaddler, who's really good. Nice finish there by Andrews, just overwhelming with size. And you can see Osaruyi rotating over there, but it was for naught. So yeah, a lot of really, really good rising juniors in this game, and I think a couple highly touted risings. Okay, Osaruyi, okay. Yeah, I believe Osaruyi is 27. Let me just double check that. Yeah, he is 2027. So rising sophomore, number 25. Um, the draft council does approve of JJ Andrews. Hi, the draft council. What's up, buddy? I still need to listen to your new pod. I'll do it after I get through all the football podcasts. Um, how to become a scoring option for your team after a terrible freshman year? It's a great question. I mean, show you can score in practice. Like, not a great answer, but like, just do the things that you want to do. Work on them. Good block right there. Zay, I've watched Maluash before. I don't think I like I've watched. I don't think I've watched Maluash on stream before. Actually, no. But I've watched like pretty much all of his like Basketball Africa League games, which there's not that many of them on the internet. But Jalen, this is I believe Jalen Mitchell, number 32, is another 2027. So this is a really nice 2027s matchup. Miles Sadler, number 1. Sadler is just like a ridiculously good player. He's really small, as you can probably tell, but just like always creating advantages, sick touch, really good really good passer, like feisty defender, just very small. White Mo Bamba is crazy, Dan. What the fuck? That's a crazy comparison. That's hilarious. Um, I mean, I guess kinda. I don't know. Wait, did Malawash play like an exhibition, Zay? What are you did they play like an exhibition or something, or was it just like scrimmage highlights or something? Because I've seen, oh my goodness, Sadler, like just a ridiculous finisher. The touch is crazy. I've seen some Malawash like clips and stuff from scrimmages, and he looks really good. But those are just like practice and scrimmage clips, right? So I'm not gonna take too much away from those. But I am very excited for Malawash at Duke. Certainly one of my guys who I'm most intrigued to see how they do. Andrews for three. But yeah, Sadler is a show, man. Like he is. Uh, actually, I don't think that was Sadler. That was their other guard who's not as high profile. But yeah, I'd say that like the highest profile prospects in this game are probably JJ Andrews, who has the ball, 23 right there. Um, I believe it's Miikka Muurinen, 33 Finnish, and then Osaruyi, who's one of the best guys in 2027. Even though the rising sophomore rankings will shift a lot between now and whenever they're graduating high school or going to college or wherever the, those early 2020 like early sophomore class ones are pretty. Yes, I I have seen that game, not Xavier. it it's in my it's in my tracking spreadsheet, dog. Is EYBL Invitational? So EYBL is just like Nike's shoe circuit, basically. So it's just like a bunch of Nike sponsored teams that play each other, and then the best, like there's different sessions throughout the summer in different locations, and then at the end of the summer there's Peach Jam, which is like the big end of season tournament where like the best teams will qualify, and there's like bracket play. And it's kind of like that for all of the great defense by Andrews, man. Call a foul on that? I don't like that call. I I really don't like that call. But yeah, so it's just kind of like all the shoe circuits have their own. But UIB, I guess like technically it is invitational, but like it's based on like your record against the other teams, and just like the teams that are sponsored by Nike will play UIBL ball, and like the teams that are sponsored by Adidas or like Puma or UAA or whoever. Um, Need to see how Dylan Harper. What do you mean? Has Dylan Harper improved a lot in a short time? I mean, I hope so. I like Dylan Harper. Jalen Mitchell for three. I'm not sure if you've heard, but there's going to be a couple top prospects at Rutgers this year. Um, that's a little known fact for y'all here on the stream. See, it's who Andrews can do here. Nice pass to Muurinen. Oh my goodness, Osaruyi just. Yeah, this is a. I'm pretty sure. Osaruyi is like true 2027 age too. Let me look this up. Yeah, he's 08. Okay, maybe a. I think 08 might be like a tad. Well, I'm not actually sure, but he's ridiculously good. He's a ridiculously good player. Favorite point guard and center prospects coming up in the next few years. Well, my favorite center prospect in this upcoming class is Zakarski for sure. And then like Traore and Harper and Yakuchonis. But for the upcoming classes, 2020, I would say 2025 high school class doesn't have any point guards or centers that I think are like NBA locks. I think the best point guard. I'm just gonna put a hat on. I don't like my hair today. I think the best point guard in the 2025 high school class is Kingston Flemings. He plays on the Puma circuit and he plays in Texas. Great pass by Sadler. Best center is probably Chris Senack, who is moving to Link Academy this year at Branson, but also not like a true center. My favorite true center in 2025 high school classes is actually probably Malachi Moreno, who played with Indy Elite on the Adidas circuit this summer, and is going to Kentucky. the year after next. He's a stud. But yeah, I don't know of a ton of like real stud long term big prospects, honestly. Mitchell. Yeah. Osaruyi is awesome, but he's 16, right? He's very far away. And like Boozer is a big technically, but like he's not like a center, right? But he's he can function as a big if you need him to. That's definitely part of the appeal. Jalen Mitchell getting Jalen Mitchell getting to the foul line very often here in this game. Nice to see it. Good move. You can ask whatever questions you want. Your form. I'm not a jumper guy. My form is ass. I'm unfortunately not the person to ask there. I don't know what the hell to do to fix my own jumper. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of resources on the internet that I'm sure you could find fairly easily. Look at Osaruyi, man. Great pass by Mitchell. Let's see what we got for Muurinen. Nice pass. Really nice pass. No finish, but yeah, that's the stuff. Really nice, really nice read there from your 6'8", 6'9" shooting forward. That's what you want to see. Osaruyi, good physicality there. Kind of wish you would have seen this. Yeah, I guess then. I mean, I guess he could have passed there, but this guy's also not really cutting. Like he should have cut there. Anyways, I like the physicality. Um, Thoughts on the Big East this year? In terms of like the draft, it's like, I think. Like, there's obviously like, oh, that looked painful. There's obviously like McNeely and like Caravan at UConn, and Cam Jones is awesome at Marquette. And there's like fringier guys like Swain and some freshmen, but and like Kalkbrenner and some of the Baylor guys. But I can't say I'm super excited for Big East hoops this year. Um, Great pass by Sadler, by the way. That lefty pocket pass, just beautiful. That guy's a stud. Um, I like Andre Jackson. I think the Bucks need to play him more. I mean, his offense is definitely limited, but like when you have Damian Lillard and Chris Middleton and Giannis, you should like, and when you're as unathletic as that Bucks team is, I think you should be prioritizing the development of a guy like Jackson. I was a big fan of his coming out. Like, I don't know if like relative to consensus, how I was probably close-ish. Like I think I had him as like a late first, early second type grade. Jalen. Early pickup, great deep by Sadler again, just like digging in that gap. I love stuff. I love Sadler. This is one of my favorite players in all of high school basketball. Miles Sadler, certainly a name to remember. Um, yeah, no, I'm with you with the Andre Jackson optimism generally. I think he's a really intriguing player with a valuable skill set. Again, don't know if he's like a long term like lock playoff rotation guy, but he's good. Thoughts on Baba Oladutan? Don't have any particularly in depth thoughts. Like I'm going to wait before I make like sweeping conclusions about kids his age. But like seems impressive from like the little I've seen, like the shot making stuff at his size and like the movement skills. Like seems like your classic like guy who's going to develop into like a sick shot making wing. But ooh, nice, good read there, but just couldn't get it over. Um, Good read there by Mitchell. He's good. But yeah, I don't know enough about a lot of today I got a girl that never listened to anything based listen to some to show me listen to Tate McRae. I fucking love Tate McRae. Don't slander Tate McRae. No Tate McRae slander here. Tate McRae is great. I'm an appreciator of all music. Or most music, I suppose. But um no relation. Young and Wooga. I like Wooga. Oh, baby Sadler, just like step through, touch, craft. Like he's really something else. Sadler is the small guards at this level are just like really hard to stop. And Sadler is certainly one of those guys. Like what situations do you want those guys to go to? Um, I don't know exactly where, but like Yang seems interesting enough in terms of his like some of his like playmaking coordination stuff. I don't know enough about Yang's game to like have a super detailed, thought out answer, but I would just imagine like more and continued athletic improvement. The modern center stuff, more comfortable like dribbling higher up on the perimeter. Wooga, Wooga's a weird one because like I feel like he was really good as a freshman in a lot of exciting ways as like a complimentary wing, and then Miami's roster as a sophomore got way worse, and they forced him to take on a more like on ball role, and he really struggled in that. He was like a fairly efficient off dribble shooter, but everything else was a struggle for Woogs. So hopefully he can blend the best of both seasons, where he can be this like off ball slashing, playmaking, defensive secondary wing kind of wing player with a little bit of off dribble scoring juice when needed, because I think that's definitely his path to making the league and being a real guy. But I don't know. I'm a long time Wooga Poplar fan. Good, God, nice job by JJ spacing to the corner there. Good spacing feel here. Notices that his defender is digging hard, sinks to the corner, open three, like basic. But I love seeing 16-year-olds with this kind of off ball feel. An ability to like space. But yeah, I like Wooga a lot. He's a guy who I've thought was underrated ever since he was like, played high school at like small school in Philly. So I hope he ends up being good. I'm a big fan of his. He's really fun when he's respectfully Tate McRae's ass. Respectfully, you don't know ball. Yeah, Mitch, I got that they're just like two randomly different players. Oof. I'm sorry to hear that you're a Panthers fan, buddy. That's unfortunate. I would certainly rather have Anthony Richardson than Bryce Young. I'm very happy with the Colts. I would say there are very few players in the league who I would trade Anthony Richardson for. I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 guys. So yeah, I'm extremely stoked with that. And I don't know, man. Look at Sadler. Sadler is a righty. Like Sadler shoots the ball with his he shoots jumpers with his right hand, but he's just killing with these left-handed skip passes. Like the skill is crazy. He's killing it this game, man. But yeah, man, like what do the Panthers do? The Derek Brown injury is just like brutal. Absolutely brutal. Obviously, I, I I didn't watch any of the Panthers game, obviously, and I don't plan on it. Like, was Bryce actually that terrible? Because like I don't know, like maybe some optimism that would at least look like decent-ish. I know the Saints are a good defensive team, but like Canales has had a really nice history with QBs. Like their weapons aren't like good. Like I didn't like the Leggett pick, and but like Deontay's a fine enough option. I don't know. I'm like, I guess like I guess I shouldn't say I'm like surprised that the Panthers are horrible again. Like, I guess that shouldn't be so surprising, but like a little disappointed. I don't know. I thought the Panthers might have had like a tiny bit of juice, and oh my goodness, Sadler. Yeah, Sadler is absolutely cooking in this game. Easy paint touch, bursts to get downhill. Basically nothing from Muurinen on this in this game so far. Just like not making a super high impact on either end. um, which is kind of how it's been every time I've watched these Brad Beal 16 games. Um, I've never been super excited by Muurinen. I know he's like he's a highly regarded prospect for a reason, but I'm sure I just caught bad games. And man, Sadler is tiny, but like I love how physical he is. Like he will throw you, like you throw you to the side, like strong and physical. I, I love that kind of player. It's just really inspiring. I'm an NFL casual. I fear Bryce Young's NBA comp is kind of looking Killian Hayes-ish. I, I I don't want that to be true, but like I like Bryce Young. I thought he was a fun prospect, but it's looking a little Killian Hayes-ish at the moment. Like I do I am a little worried about Bryce Young, or I guess more than a little worried. Like after week one, but like I said, I did not watch the Panthers game. Um, I kind of consider like throwing on that all 22 just because I'm like just out of like morbid curiosity, but I think I'm probably gonna spare myself from that and not do that. So, but yeah, it's unfortunate. I feel deeply for Panthers fans. I know my buddy Matthew Spawnhour, uh, a fellow friend of the program, is going through it. I mean, he's like the only Panthers fan I know. Yeah, Bryce looking like a deer in headlights still is really not great. Like that's, oh yeah, that stinks to hear. That's really unfortunate. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just a bummer. Like, just sucks to hear. Um, oh, nice almost one. Yeah, yeah, it just sucks to hear. Like, I don't know. He really is just too small. Like the photo of him next to Mina Kimes really did cook him, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I maybe in like a second contract type of situation. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, ugh. I hope Bryce. I feel for Bryce, but I do. I feel for Bryce, but I'm also very glad the Colts ended up with Anthony Richardson because that guy's gonna be so fucking good. He's gonna be so good. Um, and I don't know. As a football enjoyer, I'm stoked for a lot of Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud battles to come in the near future. As a Colts fan, I'm a little less happy that you know one of the 4 or 5 best young quarterbacks in the league. I think I would say pretty immediately is in our division. But I also think Anthony Richardson clearly has the ceiling to get there, even though he's not as good as C.J. Stroud. Like I'd say that's kind of an unreasonable ask. But I certainly think he has that kind of ceiling. Um, anyways, yeah, there's our football talk. My fantasy teams were just absolutely horrible this week, and more Miles. This is just like Miles Sadler is like everything for this team right now. Like this AZ Unity team is not great, but Miles Sadler, beautiful little up fake there, just burns defenders. Muurinen is like very lax. But yeah, Sadler has dominated this game, which is kind of like every time I watch Sadler play, whether it's EYBL or like FIBA with like the Canada youth teams, he's always just cooking everyone. He's such a good player. Wish he was taller, but probably destined to fall into the a little too small to play guard in the NBA. But alas, that is the fate of so many really good young fun players. Like, okay, nice blitz, doesn't work. Okay, kind of works. No, it doesn't work. It's like when you're so fast that you don't even like you can't even like he kind of loses his handle here, and this isn't like the greatest trap in the world, right? But he's so fast, like automatic paint touches. it's it's really difficult to stop guys like this at this level. And look at Sadler rotating and altering this shot, man. Like I love these small guards who like play way more physical and big than they actually are. Like Sadler making a rotation here, like contesting a shot. Um, Impressive. Just very, very impressive performance, and just drills the three. Very impressive performance from a young Miles Sadler in this game. Just a really fun player. Jalen Mitchell loses the ball. Another Sadler play. This is getting kind of comical at this point. He's like the only guy on on his team just willing them to victory, willing them. I mean, not victory. They're losing by a decent amount, but BB is like a really good team. They won Peach Jam for a reason. Like they're very talented. Um, but yeah, no answers for Miles Sadler. Let's see what JJ Andrews can do. Andrews, I think, is probably the best like long outside of maybe Osaruyi, which like I just don't have enough confidence to really say at this point. I think Andrews is probably the best long term guy. Look at like his like physical tools are crazy. Like look at this flex. That's crazy. Look how low the fact that you're 6'6". I think he's probably like 6'6" ish, maybe 6'6" ish guard has the flexibility to get lower than a 5'11" point guard. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Unreal, man. He's just like definitely a raw player. Andrews is. Is the small guard dead? I say no, but like you still have. I think there's still a place for small guards in the league, but like I think one, you just have to be really special in multiple areas, and two, you have to be able to play more physical than your height would let on. Like I think of a guy like Jose Alvarado, for example, who like has this special like defensive playmaking instincts, is a good shooter, and like is a physical guy. Like will bang down low, will absorb and take contact. So to me, those are like the main things that these like really little guards need to survive in the league. Like I don't think it's impossible because like if you're talented, you're talented, and if you're good enough, I think you can make the league as a small guard, especially on the offensive end, right? But it's an uphill battle for sure. Who's my fave international prospect not in this class? The best one that I know of is Nathan Soliman. I think he's like 2027 or 2028 draft. He's a French like 6'8", 6'9" French forward with just incredible defensive instincts, team D feel, movement skill, flashing, like playmaking, dribbling, passing, just like your general gigantic French guy that's in vogue for some reason. Mohamed Debone is really good, even though he's not 12. He's probably like 16 or 17, or maybe even 18 at this point. But Debone is like really talented, even for like a 16, 17, 18-year-old. It's like ridiculous physical talent. Um, I like Dash Daniels, who is the brother of Dyson Daniels. He's just like certainly similar defensive instincts with maybe some more offensive juice at the same stage. I'm not totally sure. And then Kareem Lopez, probably the 2026 international class is not particularly strong to my knowledge. Kareem Lopez, he's played for like the Mexico FIBA teams. I can't think of where he's playing now, honestly, but he's a really good player. Like 6'8", shot making, closeout attacking, wing forward type. Yeah, Mitchell is really not a separator 1v1. Give Payton Pritchard the greenlight. Is the class of 2026 good? Yes, I would say so. At least from what I know so far. It's not as top heavy as 2025, but I think it's probably a little deeper. the 2025 high school class is like extremely top heavy, like probably the best top three in Boozer, Peterson, Debansa of any high school class that I've ever scouted. Which isn't that many to be clear. Of course, Sadler again. It isn't like that many to be clear, but definitely the strongest top three I scouted. Whereas like I'd say the 26 class at this point only has one like legit. And oh my goodness, what a fucking pass! Whew. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at that tight window. Like this is the type of play that translates. Contested, tight window pass through traffic. Like can't say enough about Miles Sadler. But yeah, the 2026 class is good. Like outside of like Stokes is the main prize and like the main like lock stud prospect, I'd say. But like the next 6 or 7, like really talented. Ooh, good shot by Muurinen. His touch is awesome. Like I'd say Muurinen, not sure about Muurinen, but Andrews 23 is like a probably better than what most of the 26-5 class has. Like Caleb Holt, Elijah Arenas, who could reclass, but I think the noise is that Arenas is not going to reclass. But like Holt, Brandon McCoy, Elijah Arenas, Jason Crow, Caleb Gaskins, like I like Taj Ariza, probably other guys that I'm forgetting at the moment. But like it's a Jordan Smith as well, who played up with Team Takeover, I think, out of DC. But yeah, I'd say the 20. God, big physical board by Osaruyi. I'd say that the 26 class is pretty good. I don't know if it's better than 2024, 2025, or 2024 yet. I think it's just a little early for me to say that. I just don't know as much about the class, and of course, the players are younger and have still a ton of development to go as a whole before they're playing in the league or even college. But I would say the 2026 class seems pretty strong. Like if this game's any indication, like I mean Sadler's in the 2026 class. I don't know how much of a prospect he is just because of the size, but like really gifted player. I think Andrews, beautiful pass right there, awesome bounce pass right there. Doesn't get through, but I love the vision here from Andrews. Like triple teamed here, and somehow hits this lay and sees this lay down. These are the kind of traits that I look for in like young guys. Who do I see being the next expansion locations? That's a great question. I mean, I don't have any like I wouldn't say I have any like insightful answers here that no one else has said. Like Seattle seems obvious. Vegas, I'm kind of unfortunate because I'm just not I'm not a fan of Vegas personally, but like Vegas seems pretty inevitable. Another great pass by Andrews there. Yeah, like Vegas seems pretty inevitable. Maybe Baltimore, maybe KC, maybe like Vancouver. I don't know. I think it would definitely be cool to see NBA expansion. I think I do think we need expansion. The league is too talented, I think, and as we've seen with like a lot of guys not getting deals because of like the salary cap and like all of the talent overseas and NBA players going to play overseas, so it could play in the league. I don't think it's like a crisis or anything. Good shot by Mitchell. But yeah, the expansion is coming, I think. How would I rank draft class the last 10 years? That's a great question. I'd say 2024 is possibly at the bottom. At least off the top of my head, I'd say 2024 is the lowest. Another like legit rotation by Sadler. Like he's gonna foul here, but like how many 16-year-old 5'11" point guards are legitimately trying to contest and block shots at the rim? Like I just love this dude. 2023 is up there with the strongest classes. I'd say 2021 was really strong. What else? 2017 was really strong. That was a really good class. 2018 was a really good class. 2015 wasn't very good. 2014 was like okay. Like 2019 was like all right. 2020 was like not the strongest, but like not horrible, I don't think. 2022 again, like okay. But yeah, I'd say 2023, 2021, 2018, probably towards the top of that list. Really nice touch again by Mitchell there. Great shot. Um, and then I'd probably say that 2024 is bringing up the rear, but 2014 and 15 classes also not particularly strong. Andrews is killing as a passer after these offensive rebounds. Really great. Love seeing a guy with like the feel to like make plays and make these cool like high level reads, but not in like a structured pick and roll. Like when the defense is scrambling, I think that showcases some good like ingenuity playmaking on the fly. Yeah, it hasn't been like the gaudiest like box score stat game for JJ Andrews, but I think he's shown a lot of why I really like him as a prospect and a lot of the intriguing long-term development stuff that you are hoping to bank on from a guy like that. Grabs the board. He's a really great rebounder. Don't love the footwork here. Very choppy, like these kind of like small steps, not doing him any favors, and he probably could have passed it there. Not the greatest take in transition there that you've ever seen. Can I see anybody in the 2024 class besides Shepard outperforming their expectations? I mean, I feel like honestly, I don't know if Reed is going to, just because like expectations are seem pretty high for him, honestly. I mean, I don't know who, but I'm sure a lot of players will, just because of how bad and like flat of a class it was. Like I think it's like maybe more than usual, guys are going to be bound. Like there are going to be some guys we just don't expect to fail, and some guys we don't expect to succeed. I don't exactly know who, like, but I would guess that we see a good amount of like weird outcomes from this class that just like had very little consensus and people did not feel good about it, and just like the quality of prospect overall wasn't that high, which I think leads to probably some more variance. So yeah, I would guess there's some. I would guess there's going to be some stuff. A good rebound by Andrews. His finishing is awesome. Like when he gets that left hand, he can hang in the air, finish with touch. Really enjoy Andrews. Really enjoy Andrews' game. Very fun prospect. Don't know exactly where I'd have him like compared to the rest. It's ridiculous. No look. Yep, that's no look. Don't know exactly where I'd have Andrews compared to the rest of the 2026 class yet. But definitely somewhere in that like top 5 to 10 range, probably. I'd have to watch and think more, but he's good. Good player. Jalen Mitchell. He's taking a lot of tough shots. I think Wiggins was like a very good prospect, but not nearly like not the generational guy people said. I have a Wiggins video on my channel actually, if you'd like to go find it after the stream or whenever you want. Or sad. I think it's like his third 3 of the game, just like smoking. But yeah, I had a video where I kind of like broadly compared prospect Wiggins to in his development to Shaden Sharp. But yeah, Wiggins is the kind of prospect who like I think like traditional quote unquote like draft thought process would lead you to believe that he's like a super stud just because he's like a super high flyer, like lots of crazy dunks and stuff. But really, to me, just didn't have like the functional feel or creation or the avenues to really turn his athleticism into high-end impact. And I think that's exactly what we saw at the NBA level, right? Like he just was never able to impose his physical tools as a scorer the way like an Anthony Edwards can, or like a, even like a Jalen Green or Scoot Henderson at times, or like a lot of these other top level initiators, John Morant. So yeah, I think I do think that Wiggins was, I mean, just in terms of raw talent, like he wasn't even close to Embiid in terms of like just non-injury stuff. Obviously, Embiid, dropped because of the like obviously credible injury concerns. But Embiid was like leagues ahead of Wiggins in terms of prospect quality. Like I don't think it was close at all. Um, yeah, I would say Wiggins was probably 2 in that class. Wiggins or Smart. Smart was a really I really like the prospect Smart. I actually do um yeah, I do think that I probably would have taken Smart over Wiggins in that class. Smart was just a ridiculously gifted offensive player too, which like didn't fully translate to the league, but I think Smart had like higher range of offensive outcomes than we ended up seeing from him. Um, but yeah, I think Wiggins. Then like Aaron Gordon was solid. Randall was solid. I honestly liked Prospect Stauskas. When I think I went back and watched Prospect Stauskas like a couple summers ago for like a project and was pleasantly surprised. Like he was actually pretty damn good. And I was definitely expecting Prospect Stauskas to be one of those guys who just like obvious, like, fraud, King's pick type. But no, Stauskas could play. I really did like Prospect Stauskas. Um, but but yeah, I mean the injury stuff is what it is with Embiid, but I think he was like very clearly better than Wiggins and like not really close in terms of their long-term ceiling. But Wiggins was a good prospect though. Just not the kind of guy he was billed as, which is very common. Yeah, I like Shaden. I've got a decent amount of Shaden stock. Excited to see him hopefully just can stay healthy because was really turning it on before his injury, right? Last year, like had some big scoring games. Think he's ultimately probably more of like a secondary type. Like I don't see like top 20, top 25 level impacts with Shaden particularly, but I think he's a guy who can like make all-star teams and it's just a clearly very talented offensive player. Someone who I'm excited to watch. And I do really hope is healthy and is, on the court and all that good stuff. This number 5, who is this? Let me look at the box score. Jordan Charles. He's had some interesting takes, and I think he's hit some threes in this game. Ooh, great cross. Great take. 23 is Noah George. A good take. Yeah, I only vaguely remember the Wiggins hype. Like I wasn't, I was pretty young when he got drafted. But I remember people talking about him, and yeah, just like going back and watching his prospect tape after the fact, it's like obviously, I think there's a certain level of hindsight bias that you can't kind of get rid of. But even with that, it's like, comparing him to some of like the other top prospects that went in years after, like I don't even think he was a better prospect than like Jaylen Brown was particularly. And like Brown was a very good prospect at Cal, but I don't think he was like or if he was better, it wasn't by like a significant margin. And I don't think people were calling Jaylen Brown like a LeBron next GOAT level guy out of college, right? Like, so yeah, the hype machine is really interesting. Every once in a while, there's like some really overrated Canadian guy. Like it was Wiggins, and then it was RJ Barrett. I don't know who's coming next. I maybe someone in this game, but nice handle. I've seen some nice dribble moves from Jalen Mitchell in this game. Like can definitely handle it a little bit, but just doesn't seem very quick. Andrews loves his spin move. Sadler, easy. I just freaking monster. Every time Miles Sadler touches the ball, good things happen in this game. Beautiful little laydown. Oh, gorgeous. I've certainly been disappointed with the defensive effort by 33 Muurinen in this game. Certainly not his fault, like when the point of attack defenders are getting beat so easily, but like, and you could argue that like one of Andrews or number 2, I believe that's Trey Pearson, should have like rotated over, but yeah, I don't know. No objective reason. Hey, sometimes vibes are all you need, man. Um, but yeah, I thought Shaden was a pretty good prospect pre-draft. I certainly thought I I wanted the Pacers to take him instead of Matherin in that draft. Yeah, no, Shaden was a good prospect. Like his EYBL stuff was pretty intriguing. I didn't think it was like number one pick level stuff. Like I think he was getting like number one recruit level hype after that EYBL season, and I don't think it was that quality of tape, but it was really good. Like it was really good, and he flashed a lot in a very new, difficult role. And I think he's shown that he's capable of being a good NBA player. So, but yeah, and I mean, Shaden was a guy who like I would not have expected. People to really watch because like EYBL tape is hard to watch. I think I probably only watched like 3 or 4 Shade and Sharp games or full games because I didn't have access to like as much film as I do these days. Um, I think sometimes that's all you need to get a good feel for a prospect. I think it really depends on the player. Like sometimes I watch a prospect and I like after one game and I feel like, okay, yeah, I know what this guy is. And sometimes it'll take me 10 games and I'm still not really sure. It just it just depends. Another just blow by Sadler. Yeah, at this point the game's kind of out of hand, and I understand the defense for being kind of lax here, I guess. But still, it's just like he's he's at the hoop every time. Bagley, yeah, I Bagley that was the draft that was like the draft that I like before I started like seriously scouting. Like I was like writing and making content about the 2018 draft, but I wasn't like seriously, scouting, watching tape, taking notes, thinking about my process and philosophy and stuff. But yeah, I just like I saw Marvin Bagley highlights and I was like, this guy is next. Like he's dunking on everyone. He's so sick. When like uh, again, in reality, I think it was pretty. I recall smart draft people at the time. Being kind of skeptical of Bagley, at least relative to how he was being discussed. And most they were pretty right about that. I definitely remember a large contingent of people being like, "This, Bagley is physically maxed out. He's not going to have the same level of advantages at the next level that he did in high school and even college to a lesser extent." And it's like, yeah, turns out stuff like feel and shooting and real perimeter skill and all that stuff really matters. Like another Sadler advantage created. I've been taking notes and doing my tracking for this game in the background. I have Sadler at a plus 13 in this game, which is very good. Just kind of meaning, you know, his positive impact on the game has been extremely high, and I think that's very pretty clear. Even like again defending the rim, love that. I think that might be Sadler who got that steal again. Is it? Okay, I'm trying to tell. Yeah, it does look like Sadler who gets that steal again. Just like legit low man defense as a 5'11" guard. Um, and then he's gonna finish this stupid reverse. Just an absurd performance from Sadler in this one. Um, Martre Bagley, Jesus Christ, Mike, Jesus Christ, Grib. Mar- Martre Bagley and Caden Gaskins. Is Caden related to Caleb, Mike? I assume. I assume Caden and Caleb are related. Yeah, lost his handle there, but I'm not scouting in the 2029 trenches like you are, Grib. I don't think anybody on this planet is. But yeah, I've heard of Marte Bagley. I have definitely heard of that name. Nice pass by Mitchell. His feel looks good. I mean, he and Andrews are such a nice like passing duo. Like Andrews off ball movement, connective passing stuff. Like and Mitchell is like definitely not as dynamic of a creator at this point as Andrews, but like he can really pass. This Brad Beal team was really fun. I very much enjoyed watching this team. Um, yeah, bigs that can't defend are dicey. That's tough. Um, Lots of these touch shots for Mitchell. Good touch, but relying on a lot of these difficult ones. He is. I'm pretty sure he's like one of the younger guys in this game, anyways. Very quiet Osaruyi game. His minutes seem to wax and wane a lot. Another just fucking monster Sadler take. Sadler has been so special in this game. Andrews, I like Andrews here, being the low man here. Just can't get to that ball, but I do like going for that block. I'm like, holy crap, Sadler has been crazy in this game. Very much carrying this team to even being close in this game still. But that's what you see a lot of these small at these lower levels, like 16U, 15U, are pretty much run through small guards. And I'd say that's mostly the case at this. I'd say it's less so at the set like the higher level 17Us, but still definitely the case that a lot of this lower level basketball is just a lot of small guards cooking everyone, and that's just a really bad gaff right there, giving up a wide open shot right there. But yeah, tough for these small guards to really translate their impact to higher levels. But man, they're fun to watch at these lower levels. Osaruyi. Nice laydown by Mitchell. Osaruyi definitely has a lot of like baby deer energy, but his like movement skills, I've always loved his like physicality too. He's like very willing to impose himself despite like being a pretty skinny player. A guy who's like not particularly strong, obviously he's very young, but is a very, very like physical, grown interior guy who like is willing to bang and be physical. Nice play. But yeah, I'd say the vast majority of teenage bigs, regardless of height, are bad screeners. Like it's quite rare for bigs at this level to be genuinely difference-making screeners. Like it's just not common. It's not even as common at the college level. Like it's obviously older players and older college bigs probably, but like I don't know. That's why guys like at least to me, part of why guys like Pat Ngongba and like Infali Dante, aside from just like size and age, like can be so dominant. And Dante is like I think not a really good example because he was so much older than everyone else. But yeah, most bigs can't really screen like that, and Osaruyi you can definitely move. Enjoying the Osaruyi movement skill stuff. Who'd be the next Trae Young? Just like elite small guard. I mean, I think the most similar skill set in youth basketball to Trae Young right now is Kasparas Yakuchonis. Even though he's like bigger than Trae and probably better on the interior, but like in terms of elite pull-up shooting, passing and like touch. But yeah, I don't know. Trae Young I think is pretty singular. Just a very hard guy who's a guy whose skill set is not particularly replicable by most guys. I don't think any of the top point guard prospects in the next couple of classes profile anything like Trae Young. I feel like I don't know. I feel like post play is like kind of coming back. Like teams are running their offense through bigs more. Like I think there are plenty of like good enough post scorers to kind of bring it back. Like if you're good enough, just like this, like this kind of traditional idea that like stagnant post ups are not good offense. I think that's generally true. Like 90s, early 2000s style post up offense is not efficient. But when you're mixing in like post ups and stuff with like modern 5-out delay concepts, pistols, using guys as like dribble handoff hubs higher up, I think being a post up big is like more viable now than it was 5 or 6 years ago, which is kind of crazy, honestly. Um, but yeah, I think there is room in the league for like really great post up bigs. I would say definitely not at the same level of like stardom. Like I don't think a guy, like Zach Eady might have been like a real star prospect 25 years ago, and I think there's like room for a guy like that in the league, but not necessarily as like a star. That's definitely true. Like that this like the star level post up bigs are kind of like I don't want to say dead, but it's just like very you basically got to be Embiid or Jokic level, and most players not Embiid or Jokic level as post up guys. This was a super fun game. I really enjoyed this game. I hope y'all enjoyed this as well. I've really been enjoying diving deeper into these like younger high school classes. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying learning more about these like younger high school classes. Yeah, but even Giannis is like so much of Giannis's play type stuff is facing the rim, whether it's like transition or face ups or like flip action. Like he does post up, sure, but like I wouldn't call him like I'd say Giannis is much more of like a face up specialist than really like a post up guy, which is I think just kind of the nature of the beast um, at this point. I'm not super high on Edie, as people may know if they follow my work. I like he's solid. I'd say his ceiling is like kind of Valanciunas-y, maybe. Just like I think of useful, high-ish usage offensive big who's always going to have defensive limitations, playmaking limitations. How do I learn to scout? Just doing it, honestly. Like that's the best advice that I give people when they ask like how to become a scout or how to like learn what to do. It's just like do it, um just watch a lot of basketball, try to form your own opinions. I'd say emulate people who you like and look up to, whether that's me or Gribinov or PD or like guys at Swish Theory, whoever it is, whoever's process you latch onto, and of course I have my opinions of like who I think is good terms like process wise and who's not good, but whoever you latch onto, I think is generally a good thing to just follow, kind of emulate, and I really do believe that the longer you scout and the longer you watch basketball, you just kind of build up an instinct for it. Um, that's kind of intangible in some sense. Like I just feel, it's kind of like anything, right, in life. Just like the more you do something, and the more you practice, um, it is hard. It's really hard. I would say the main like I preach patience a lot. Like I think maybe the single hardest thing about scouting is like it's a patience game. Like it can be hard for like your scouting. It's like the scouting game is not about projecting prospects for like this year, right? Or like the first couple years of their career. It's projecting an entire career, projecting an entire arc. So like it's very much a patience game. Um, and I think a lot of NBA Twitter, understandably is not patient at all. It's very like reactionary and takes and like busts and stuff. But yeah, it's like most players take time to develop and reach their ceilings. I think being cognizant of that is certainly useful in terms of scouting and just learning how to scout and how to have an eye for this kind of thing. But yeah, it's hard. I think I'm gonna start another game because I have some time. Um, I do have a little more time before I have to go, so I am gonna start the game. Um, we're gonna watch a 17U game. This is Why Not versus Team Takeover. So Jordan Smith, number 23, playing up. Jason Crow, number 4, 2 top guards in the high school class of 2026. And then we have Taj Ariza, number 2, who is another top wing in the class of 2026. And he is Trevor Ariza's son, which makes me feel incredibly old. Yeah, that makes me feel really old. That makes me feel ancient. Yeah, I feel really old watching and scouting. Well, like the ones like the really like Ariza and Brandon Bass Jr. are the ones that just really make me feel fucking ancient. Like I like vividly remember watching those guys playing in the NBA. Like what doesn't feel that long ago, and yeah, now I'm watching their kids play basketball for a living, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like this is so weird. Yeah, I think the player development aspect of this is the most addicting part. Absolutely. I'm gonna tweet the stream out again. 1 second. But yeah, the player development aspect of it is addicting. Like it really is. It's addicting. It's satisfying. It's hard as hell, but it's really fun. Obviously, I spend more time doing it than most people than is probably advised. But just the point where I'm at. So let's see what Jordan Smith can do here against Crow. Just burns him off the dribble right there. Great block by Yesufu. This is Cheek Tunde Yesufu. He's a 2025 4-star, kind of just like a small big, is how I describe his game. Like a 6'5" traditional 4. He probably has offers from like a bunch of blue bloods, but he's like a decent player. Regardless, good burst by Smith. And yeah, Jason Crow's on-ball defense is nothing particularly special. That's another top guard, and yeah, just not a particularly good defender at this point. Yeah, the Boozer twins do make me feel old as well. I'm still high on Alex Sarr. I personally wouldn't alter my opinion based on summer league. I wasn't particularly surprised by anything that went on with Sarr in summer league. I expected the offense to be rough, and I expected the defense to be good. More great defense by Jordan Smith. His hands. He's an awesome defender. But yeah, Sarr is gonna be fine. Was Trevor on that team? He might have been. I think he was. I think so. I believe he was on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ariza was on that Rockets team. I think so. I do enjoy me some Trevor Ariza. Good player. Very fun guy back in his day. Good shot by Nicholas Lewis, I believe that was. Crow wins off the dribble. Tough scoop layup, though. Good offensive board by Smith. Great start to this game by Jordan Smith. Had the nice drive, had the good defense in the post, and then the offensive rebound there. I've seen this. This is a beautiful fucking pass by Taj Ariza. What a pass! It's like tight window off the dribble, like not super accurate, but that's a great read. That's a good question about the mid range. I think it's still, it's definitely not. I think the it's still pretty rare to see players at this level with like very developed intermediate games. It's like not super common. I'm not sure though. I would imagine things kind of balance out as they tend to, but that seems to be something like the intermediate development that happens more like later in college in the league. Like that's not as prevalent at like youth levels. Like you just don't see a lot of players in their teenage years with really refined intermediate games, and it makes sense. That's a difficult area of the floor to succeed on. I think there's usually like a lot of moving parts. Your momentum is usually carrying you one way or another. Like oftentimes those mid-range jumpers are self-created, or you have to like move your body in a certain way. So it's not like an easy thing to develop for sure. But I do think a lot of top prospects are top, like Peterson, Debansa, Boozer, even like Jason Crow, examples of these young guys who are really developed in terms of beautiful. Jordan Smith, another block. I'm trying to see if they got Smith on this one. Can't really tell. Can't really tell. Ooh, big block. This is my favorite court on Peace Jam. I don't know why. Ooh, good. Is that a pass or you lose the ball? What do you think, chat? I think Crow probably lost the ball here. I want to give him credit for making this play, but I think it's more likely than not that he just dropped the ball and ended up getting kind of lucky that it ended up landing in his teammate's lap. But if it was a pass, that's a nice pass. I just am not particularly convinced that was a pass. Another great play, number one. I can't remember his name. Hudson Mays making some plays on the defensive end. Derek Dixon has probably been like the best, like most consistent guy, and just another Crow just like cannot get through screens. Derek Dixon, number 3, has been maybe like the most consistently impactful guy. Probably another like college scoring guard type, but small guards kind of are what they are. Great laydown. I called him a scoring type, and then he makes an excellent pass, crossing back over, not gaining a ton of separation, but like really nice live dribble laydown. Great pass right there. Yeah, I think it was a loose ball. I agree. How did I first get into basketball? I mean, I don't know. I always like watched it growing up and played it growing up, and I played it in high school. And then at some point, like late in high school, I found a lot of draft Twitter scouts and stuff. And I always liked the draft, but I was never super into it, in a serious way. And then I realized, like, okay, this is so much deeper and more complex than I thought it was. And I don't know, it just kind of took off and never really stopped from there. Unfortunately, not the greatest start to this game for Jason Crow. Loses his handle here, loses his balance. I do unfortunately have to end the stream, but thanks everyone who joined me today. Definitely going to be back at some point in the near future. Have a nice day.